My behind-the-wheel car reports began 35 years ago in 1974. Over the years, I've tested close to 200 new cars from both American and foreign automakers. During the 1970s, Detroit was not kind to its customers. Much of what came out of the Big Three was riddled with quality problems right from the factories. From dull paint to chrome trim you could pull off with your hands, carpet stapled to door panels at the factory, noisy plastic dash trim that literally fell off. Yes, we saw some styling firsts, but much of what Detroit had to offer was monstrous in size with huge V8 engines, some with gas mileage that now sounds pitiful.
As for mileage, the car is EPA'd at 15. I got 12.2 miles per gallon in city traffic with the air conditioning on.
But beyond the bad gas mileage, American build quality was so routinely poor it ultimately turned off millions of customers, forcing them to give the imports a try. Sadly, for American automakers, those who tiptoed into a Toyota or other import never gave Detroit another look. Fact is, the fate of American automakers today is rooted in the cars they were making in the 70s, even into the 80s. I was still trim, but Detroit was still all about big, and still building a reputation for poor quality that stuck even after it finally got the message. My first test of an electric car was the 1975 Tiffany Mark III. It was marketed by a company that bought thousands of unused Renault bodies, stuffed huge batteries under the hood and in the trunk, and sold them for about $2,000. The plug-in only car needed a 10-hour charge at night, but had a range of only 40 miles. It had no pickup and a top speed of only 37 miles an hour, so it couldn't be driven on expressways. The batteries routinely ran dead on me, forcing me to wave other drivers around and call for help. The Tiffany went nowhere, literally. By the 1990s, the tide was changing. Detroit quality was getting better. The cars were still large, but they were getting quieter and slightly more fuel efficient. Still, as you can see, they were no match for their import competition. By the late 90s, GM had plugged in briefly to the electric car market with the EV1. It was a phenomenal car. Nimble and powerful, it could do highway speeds with a 100-mile range. In what he calls the worst decision of his career, now ousted GM President Rick Wagoner canceled the EV1 program, had all 3,000 EV1s recalled and destroyed. That said, by the start of the new millennium, gas-powered American-made cars were fast becoming on par with imports. But despite the improvements, Detroit's reputation for poor quality wouldn't die. As Big Three market share continued to plummet, American automakers became addicted to the big profits from their big trucks and SUVs, while Honda, with its Insight, and Toyota, with its Prius, were venturing into the future with fuel-efficient hybrids. For Detroit, the failure to see the future in time resulted in the bankruptcy of General Motors and Chrysler.